Esquire. It's good to have you. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Alfred.
Good stuff. It all started with Charles Niama Mensah Shatta Wale himself making a post on social media.
That's right. He gave us an indication that there was something happening.
Fantastic.
Had it not been for that particular post, I doubt many would know that a lot had been happening behind the scenes.
Let's get into it.
So this was one of the first posts that he made, where he called out the acting executive director of EOCO by his name, Remonacha EOCO boss. If you go make NDC go out of power next 4 years, bringing guns to my house was uncalled for, with exclamation marks. This raised a lot of questions as to what exactly was happening, for which reason he had to post this. Few minutes later, he went on to make another post. EOCO boss, the president of Ghana didn't put you in that office to come and humiliate the citizens of this country. Remember, God no sleep. Not happy. So many were wondering what exactly is going on, what the issue is between Shatta Wale and then the
Remonacha
and EOCO itself. Then a few hours later, there was a statement from EOCO seeking to to put matters into perspective as to what exactly was ongoing, for which reason Shatta Wale had to make those comments. And if you indulge me,
please.
This is the full length of the statement that came from EOCO.
Let's get into it.
That in June this year, the Economic and Organized Crime Office, acting on a 2023 request from the Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, and the United States Justice Department undertook an operation which led to a lawful search in a home at Trasaco Valley, Phase 1 in Accra. It continues that the operation, which was undertaken by the Surveillance and Asset Recovery Unit, SARU, of EOCO, led to the discovery and seizure of a 2019 Lamborghini Urus, which the FBI and the Justice Department have tied to the proceeds of the criminal enterprise of one Nana Kwabena Amuah, who is currently serving an 86-month sentence for several financial crimes in the U.S. It continues to say that the car was seized from one Charles Niama, a.k.a. Shatta Wale. The officers were professional and civil, and the search and seizure occurred without incident.
I see.
That Niama had pleaded with officers that he did not want the seizure to be made public because the vehicle was a big part of his brand, and that if his supporters saw the vehicle being driven away in the company of EOCO, it would destroy his brand.
No, let's stay the steam on that one. Let's go back a bit. So, according to EOCO, they say that Shatta Wale pleaded
with officers
of EOCO, that he didn't want the entire seizure of this Lamborghini to be made public. But then again,
reasons that he wanted his brand to be protected because that vehicle
formed
part of his brand.
Big part of his brand.
Precisely so.
And you can understand why, because he used to post that particular vehicle.
I mean, for most of the luxury vehicles that he has, he makes them public. True. So but a good number of his fans know what is worth it when it comes to the number of vehicles that he has, and to that extent, the luxury vehicles. So that featured prominently in that statement. That Niama had pleaded with officers that he did not want the seizure to be made public because the vehicle was a big part of his brand, and that if his supporters saw the vehicle being driven away in the company of EOCO, it would destroy his brand.
I see.
Now let's see what EOCO did. So Niama was allowed to surrender the vehicle himself, which is currently in the possession of EOCO. That is to say, EOCO graciously granted his request. So he was allowed to surrender the vehicle himself.
So he drove the vehicle,
according to EOCO,
to the office of EOCO.
Precisely. Now, it is a standard safety protocol practice for officers of the Surveillance and Asset Recovery Unit, SARU, to carry weapons while on operation for the safety of officers. And this addresses the part where Shatta Wale raises concerns about it being unnecessary for officers to come to his home with guns.
Right.
They say it is in line with safety standard protocol.
So EOCO is indeed confirming that the officers went to his house with guns?
Yes.
But for the safety
purpose. The FBI and the Justice Department intend to send a formal mutual legal assistance, MLA, to the government of Ghana to return the car to the United States as part of Nana Kwabena Amuah's $4.6 million restitution. Now, Charles Niama, a.k.a. Shatta Wale, and a former senior officer of the National Signals Bureau have been assessed as persons of interest and will be invited by EOCO to assist in further ongoing investigations in the coming days. It doesn't appear the matter is ending anytime soon, because there's a signal that there's an ongoing investigation for which Shatta Wale and a former senior official of the National Signals Bureau have been assessed to be persons of interest. Now, EOCO may share the final investigations reports to the FBI and the Justice Department as part of our ongoing cooperation.
I see.
Alfred, having received this, we were also curious, wanted to know more about who this person is, for which reason the FBI had to coordinate with EOCO to now begin to trace some assets for which they say this forms part of proceeds of crime.
Who are we talking about?
We are talking about Nana Kwabena Amuah.
I see. There's over 4.7 million restitution.
So this means that this is a person who has been convicted for some crimes. This person has agreed to pay back a certain amount of money to the United States of America.
Like what our Attorney General is doing.
Yes.
You know, that is,
restitution.
You play.
Precisely so. So we checked on the FBI, some FBI documents, and we actually got some really good information on what exactly this person has done and what his current status is.
That's interesting stuff.
Now, you see the case citation as U.S. versus Amuah and McDonald. That Nana Kwabena Amuah and Shimea McDonald impersonated a non-profit organization that had business with the city of Lexington and convinced a city official to wire funds owed to the non-profit. The city wired over $3.9 million to a fraudulent account opened by McDonald using a stolen identity that had been obtained for him by Amuah. Ultimately, the bank and the city were able to recover all the funds that were fraudulently transmitted. Investigators found approximately 70 other victims of Amuah and McDonald's fraud scheme, 60 of which suffered losses of more than $4.6 million. Now, the result is that Amuah was sentenced to 86 months in prison and ordered to pay nearly $4.7 million in restitution. And McDonald received 80 months and was ordered to pay nearly $4.7 million in restitution. So this indeed is a case that has happened in the U.S. for which Amuah has been convicted, and now he has gone into restitution to pay this amount of money. Mind you, the EOCO statement says that this vehicle will be returned as part of restitution of Amuah. So this is what EOCO says, that yes, they will go through what they call a mutual legal assistance for the government of Ghana to return the car to the United States as part of Amuah's 4.7 restitution.
So that puts, it's a very important derivation that you referenced there, and then it's a great job there that we went to, you got to the FBI website, then bringing this information about this gentleman, this Ghanaian in question, puts the matters in context as to why he is actually now being the source of everything that's playing out in the case of Shatta Wale now. But then, there's another part of it as well, is it not?
Yes.
That has to do with this former officer of the National Signals Bureau.
Yes.
Do we have pointers to an identity of who this person is?
Yes, so we have been knocking on we have been doing some background checks to understand what really the matters could be and if there could be any link in that respect. But thankfully, in a live broadcast a while ago by Shatta Wale himself, he did indicate and he mentioned names. And if you do draw the links, it leads to one person. And we'll establish that soon.
Perfect.
However, Shatta Wale has also stated some things or some facts from his point.
Great.
Indicating what actually happened. And what stands out in that broadcast is to the fact that, yes, he confirmed that, yes, the Lamborghini in question is a vehicle that he bought, and he bought it for $150,000, that he bought it from Kwabena Edubuahin. Now, we know Kwabena Edubuahin is the former boss at the National Signals Bureau.
That name certainly rings a bell.
Exactly. He's going through a criminal trial in respect of some deal or some transaction in his former office.
Absolutely.
That aside, we had also been told that there were other issues that had to do with in relation to luxury vehicles and all that. So this now brings clarity to the matter. The EOCO referencing a former National Signals Bureau official who, together with Shatta Wale, have now become persons of interest, because Shatta Wale says that he bought the vehicle from this person.
So Shatta Wale is just now confirming the identity of the former National Signals Bureau officer that the EOCO failed to put out.
Exactly.
So Shatta
they
Wale
didn't mention,
says,
except they didn't put the person's name in there.
Absolutely. Then Shatta comes on a live broadcast just a few minutes ago.
Yes.
And says, Kwabena Edubuahin, he bought the car from him.
And in fact, Shatta Wale says that when he was invited by EOCO and he met the executive director of EOCO, one of the things that he was told was the fact that, yes, Kwabena Edubuahin is currently going through a process, in Shatta Wale's words, that he is going down, and if Shatta Wale does not show where some of his vehicles are, he would go down with him.
Right.
That is Shatta Wale's narrative. But Shatta Wale says that this name, Nana Kwabena Amuah, as appeared on the EOCO statement, that this was not what he was told when he had a conversation with EOCO. That the only name that he was told about was the question of Kwabena Edubuahin.
That in this respect, the former National Signals Bureau boss.
Yes. But Shatta Wale also did indicate that when it comes to the vehicle, he bought the vehicle from him, who is a third party. He does not know who imported the vehicle. He does not even know who the original owner of the vehicle is or was. But he states categorically that he did not buy the vehicle from Nana Kwabena Amuah. In fact, that he doesn't know him.
Who Nana Kwabena Amuah being the gentleman who is in the U.S. now,
exactly,
who is
the
pleaded guilty
in the U.S.
But you're a lawyer, so let me put you on this one. Does this narrative by Shatta Wale shield him of any responsibility whatsoever? That yes, he didn't buy the vehicle from Nana Kwabena Amuah. He bought it from Kwabena Edubuahin, and so, well, he has no dealings with this gentleman.
So when you look at the statement from EOCO carefully, even though it does not mention money laundering, these are matters that border on money laundering.
Right.
And the offense of money laundering is so wide that you may not be directly involved with a person who is involved in an illegality, but to the extent that you are seen to be benefiting from proceeds of crime,
right,
then it robs of you.
Absolutely.
So it matters not really that you do not know the person in question, but that they are saying that the vehicle in question is a proceed of crime. Right. So we are tracing it. So when they find it with you, it's only reasonable that you also come under investigation to clear your name.
As an interested party.
If it happens that you bought it in good faith for money without notice that indeed this was the matter, that's a different conversation. But for a starting point, once it's a proceed of crime and that EOCO has been gotten in touch by FBI and they're tracing that vehicle, that should not even arise in the first place. But that's aside the point. He goes on to make other points. That's the only reason he handed over the car to EOCO was the fact that he was told that the car was involved in a shooting incident in the U.S. In his own words, that somebody was shot in the car and that he got scared, he was traumatized.
So
that was the reason
he had knowledge.
He surrendered that car. He accuses EOCO of abuse of power and targeting. Now he says that he's no longer interested in the vehicle, but it doesn't even look like EOCO is interested in giving the vehicle back to him, because when you look at the final part of the EOCO statement, it is clear what they intend to do with the vehicle. That's what the government of Ghana to return the vehicle to the United States as part of restitution
for this gentleman. I see. Now we have a video, right?
Yes.
That it puts the matters in context. So indeed, Shatta Wale's narrative that he bought this vehicle in question, this Lamborghini, for $150,000.
And a yellow one at that.
A yellow Lamborghini for $150,000 from one Kwabena Edubuahin.
Yes.
Now, that name, as Dennis has established, brings to mind the former National Signals Bureau boss. Now, if you recall, the EOCO statement referenced a former National Signals Bureau officer. Now, one of the businesses of this former National Signals Bureau boss, Kwabena Edubuahin, who is standing trial now, is a car dealership. He used to deal in luxury vehicles. I'm going to show you a video of that company, that luxury vehicles company that Kwabena Edubuahin owned. And you will see the Lamborghini, the yellow Lamborghini in question that Shatta Wale bought in this video. Take a look at this.
Now available at the Dream Collection for rental, chauffeur-driven or your own drive. Now available at the Dream Collection for rental, chauffeur-driven or your own dream. Now available at the Dream Collection for rental, chauffeur-driven or your own dream. Now available at the Dream Collection for rental, chauffeur-driven or your own dream.
This video speaks for itself, is
Yes,
it
it
not?
does. It does.
So this is the video of Cabinet Dubai company.
Precisely so.
Right.
And these are some of the luxury vehicles that... This actually is a video that the investigative bodies have, for which they are looking into the matter. And our sources did indicate that, yes, clearly, you could see the Lamborghini in there.
Dennis, stay with me.